Hello, my name is Dr. Megan McLeod and I'm the Director of the Wellcome Trust-funded PhD programme in Integrative Infection Biology here at the University of Glasgow. Thank you very much for your interest in the programme, which aims to provide opportunities for talented individuals to come to Glasgow for their PhDs in infection biology. The purpose of this video is to walk you through the application process and give you a little bit more information about what we're looking for in applicants. If you're watching this video, you may have already visited our Wellcome Trust PhD programme website. If you haven't yet had a chance, I'd really recommend that you watch the video that we've made, and this will tell you a little bit more about the types of projects that you could be involved in and tell you about the researchers that are based here at Glasgow. Down here, you can find out some more information about the programme, watch some videos from our excellent PhD students who are already hard at work in the programme, learn some more about our partners, the various supervisors you might be able to work with, and some exemplar projects. You can also find out a little bit more about Glasgow, being a student here, and career development. I'm going to click on this tab, which has all the information that you need to apply for the programme. Down here, you can see there is this big orange box, which you can click here, and this takes you to the University of Glasgow portal. This is how all students who apply for PhDs put their application information into Glasgow. And you do not need to have all of your forms ready when you open the portal and generate an application number. You can come back at a later time and add to your documents that you need to send to us. The important thing is that you've completed this process by Friday, the 6th of January, 2023, and hit the submit button. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about the application process, but first, a little bit about who we're looking for this year. We're going to take up to 6 to 7 PhD students, and these will be from a couple of different categories. We'll have up to 3 studentships available for individuals who are UK based. So these are people who are eligible for a UK home funding for a PhD. We can also have 2 studentships for people who are basically anywhere in the world. So these might be UK-based students or from any other country. And finally, we have 2 studentships available specifically for applicants who come from some partner countries who we already perform research with. And these individuals must come from Kenya, Malawi, or Uganda. And you can read some more information about the criteria here. These PhD positions are fully funded. So you will receive tuition fees that come back to the university, and this covers both home or international students. You'll receive an annual stipend that's paid directly to you. There'll also be laboratory costs that go directly to your PhD lab, and you'll be able to apply for funding for travel for conferences and for training, for example, to visit another lab or a particular course that allows you to develop your skills during your PhD. The application process itself, you can find out some information in these boxes here, but we have this really handy form here called the application checklist, which I'm going to walk you through and will tell you all the information that you need. You can see it pops up as a PDF that you're welcome to download or to print out, and you might find it helpful to check off as you go through the process. So this first part is telling you about the generic information that you'll add into the portal system to generate your application. And remember that this will form an application number, which you should note down and add to the other forms that we'll use specifically for our programme. This generic form asks for your name, your country of origin, and what you've studied in the past. You'll need to tell the form your proposed start date, which will be in October 2023. As this is a generic form, it has some questions that we don't need specific answers to just yet. So it'll ask you about your research supervisor and your proposed title for your research. In our programme, students have 2 rounds of rotations when they first start before they pick their PhD project. So we don't need any information in these boxes. So you can write not applicable or NA in this section here. They'll also want to know about your funding, and you can follow the information here to add in that the University of Glasgow Scholarship will cover your funding. The recruitment information form is a specific part to our project, and I'll walk you through that form in a couple of minutes' time. This form will need to be saved with the application number so we can marry up those documents when we need to. The reason we have this recruitment information form is so that you tell us about yourself without telling us any personal information. So that personal information is your name, your gender, your country of origin, and the university that you studied at previously. And we do this so that we aren't affected by our unconscious biases when we're looking at your application form and choosing which students we take forward for interview. 2 different people will look at each of the application forms, and then we'll have a conversation as a group about around about 20 students we take forward for interview. When we do ask you for interview, we will look at the additional forms that you have submitted as part of the application process. So those additional forms include your CV or resume. Please make sure this is up to date. If you've already finished your degree, we ask that you load up your degree certificate, for example, for your bachelor's or master's. But please don't worry if you're still in your study and you don't have your degree certificates yet. You can provide us information about your progress in your academic transcript and or also in your CV. So that might be, for example, your grade point average to this point. Please also upload a scan of your photo page of your passport to evidence your country of origin, and provide us with information about 2 referees who can give us some additional information about your eligibility and abilities at academia and research. You need to ask these individuals to then submit their references directly to us by emailing their references to this email address here. They need to do this by the 6th of January, so please give them plenty of time to submit their references for you. And you can ask them to cover these types of information in their references: how they know you, how long they've known you, what characteristics you have that make them think you would be good as a PhD student, and to rank you in against all of the other students that they have known throughout their careers. It may be necessary for you to complete an English language proficiency certificate, and you can find out more information about that here. I'm going to go back to the website. And now, once you've started your application process in the portal, the next thing to do is to download the recruitment information form. And you can click on this and it will download a Word file to your computer. That Word file will look like this. And this, as I said, has the information that we'll use to shortlist candidates. There's information here about how to save this form so that we can connect up your different documents. So make sure it's your portal number with Wellcome Trust Integrated Infection Biology 2022. The first information you'll add is on your academic background. Again, please don't add your institutional details, but the start and end date, what subject you studied, and if you know already, the classification or grade. We'd also like to hear about current or past employment. So this might be things like if you've had a summer placement as in a research lab, or you have performed some research science after your degrees, and that would be relevant information to include here. We're also interested in if you've had jobs that aren't science-based, but have skills skills that you may have developed in these jobs that are relevant to a PhD. So those might be things like, for example, team working skills or leadership development that are important as you progress into your PhD program. Please include only up to 3 relevant information telling us the type of employer that you had, so university or business, the role that you played, and the responsibilities that you had. Next is an opportunity for you to tell us about your research experience. So here you could tell us about an undergraduate project or a master's project or work you've been involved with after your study. You can tell us about what type of project that was, what you did to contribute to the project, whether there's been any outputs, for example, poster presentations, disseminating that information to the public, or scientific publication. For scientific publication, please don't add specific reference information, for example, the journal, so that we aren't, again, biased in our assessment of that information. It is really important to make your contribution to the research project really clear. We'd also like to know a little bit about how you felt about the research, what you found exciting or what you felt particular pride in. Give us a little bit of information about you as a person so that we can understand why you are interested in doing a PhD. We know that not everybody who applies for the PhD program has had equal access to opportunities. And this box here gives you an opportunity to tell us about any mitigating circumstances that you think we should take into account when we're looking at your application form. So these might be things like you've had lots of caring roles to do in your life, and that has meant that you have had limited time or opportunities for additional research, for example. Alternatively, you may not have access to educational resources as other individuals may have had access to. We know that everybody has been impacted by COVID, and we do take that into account in your experiences of wet lab research, for example. And then finally, you can give us your personal statement. So this is really your opportunity to pitch to us why we should be taking you on as a PhD student into our program. So please cover your reasons for applying, why the program meets your career aspirations, and why you think you are well suited to be a candidate for this program. Finally, make sure that you add your application ID from the portal and date the form. And just a final reminder that you should save the form in this format here so we can connect up your documents. I'm going to go back to the website now and remind you that the closing date for the applications is Friday, the 6th of January. So you must have uploaded all of the documents we've asked for and hit the submit button by this time. What will happen then is you'll receive an acknowledgement from the portal telling you that we've received your application. This might take a little bit of time for the system to kick in. In this email, you'll also receive a link to a survey that the Wellcome Trust are running. The Wellcome Trust are the funders of this PhD program, and they would like to learn more about the types of students who are applying for PhDs across the UK programs. This information that you fill in the survey will not be used in any way for selecting candidates, and we won't have any access to that, direct access to that information. Do please take the time to fill that in, because it will help us in thinking about how we pitch our programs and make sure that they are of interest and relevance to students from lots of different backgrounds. Finally, if you do have any remaining questions, please feel free to email our website, our email address here with any questions or to seek clarity on any of the stages of the application process. Just remains for me to thank you for listening to me tell you about our program and to wish you all the best with your application. Thanks very much.